right, everyone, we're back. More Legacy on the channel. It's awesome. You know the drill. Today I'm going to be playing some more Grixis Control, which is kind of ironic. The last video I played James Kissau's Grixis Legacy Control deck by the request of Swedish legend Khal Drogo. And part of the deal was also that I was going to build my own version of Grixis afterwards and take that for a spin. So that's what we're going to be doing today here. And I'm not going to be comparing the lists. I think that simply doesn't make much sense. So I'm rather just going to focus on pitching why I think this is a great deck. So the Grixis colors, right? I chose a blue-black base and simply only use Molten Collapse and Pyroblast as my splashes. So let's try and talk about the core here. So we have some generic disruption to not die to combo. We have our cantrip suite. I love Preordain in this deck, just like I like Preordain in my Jeskai Wizards deck. If you're interested in, you know, the arguments for that, you can go and watch that video. I've talked about that a few times. 4 Tamios. Card is insane. One of the biggest reasons to play, you know, blue combo cards with Brainstorm. From there, you just need to prolong the game. I do like the Clings, as we need some kind of main deck graveyard hate. I think this is the smoothest one, with it just being a cantrip. Sometimes even the life gain can matter. 4 pushes, so when to kill as big creatures as possible. So whether that's, you know, Eldrazi's, or that's going to be Nethergoyf or Baragoyf, or whatever the case may be, I think that's super decent. I'm playing 7 2-drops. And I'm trying to fuel Kaito. I think this is a decent number. I actually think Baleful Strix is quite solid between pitching to forces and brickwalling aggro. Kaito as our card advantage, and then a couple of dress downs to not lose to Ursa Saga, essentially. I'm sure it has other uses that will come up. Mana base is very, very basic land heavy. Very similar to what I played in my Wizards deck. Since this is base blue-black and only uses 5 red cards total, I just have one of each dual and a basic to go with those cards. I think that's totally reasonable. And then I try and play a Lore and Reveal. I think it's okay when you play a bunch of forces. Sometimes going to be annoying as a quote-unquote tap land. Sometimes it's going to be amazing as a force pitch. So, yeah, who knows? Very basic land-heavy mana base, which hopefully will come in handy. Sideboard. Oh, by the way, yeah, a couple of Murktides on top. I love having finishers in Legacy. You probably already knew that. So sideboard, consigns, hydros, pyros, super stock at this point for me. Second negation in 75, super stock. I go up to 4 graveyard hate, 2/2. I think that's totally reasonable to beat Reanimator. Then a couple of Baragoyfs for, let's say, matchups like Moderate Prison or Eldrazi. So it's essentially just instead of running a ton of answers for Chalice of the Void, I would just rather run cards that are good against Chalice decks regardless, right? So that's kind of the logic here. Then a couple of Sheldred's Edict, because Merit Lage was a blind spot for the deck. Before I added these, you can even argue these should be in the main. Collapse should be in the sideboard. Collapse is just quite strong, you know, killing Chalice, you know, sometimes killing 2 things. I think it's okay to have a couple of those in the main deck, and then Sheldred's Edict. It's not exciting that I have to spend my slots on a card like that, but it at the same time is not a catastrophe either. All right, let's see what we can do against the metagame. Okay, round 1. I'm playing Grixis Control, and I have a solid hand here. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, Collapse, Cling. This is decent interaction against a lot of things. I guess let's play Badlands, Thoughtseize. Okay, so I'm playing against a cool blue-black deck. Might even be a Grixis deck, to be honest. So let's see here. Which card do I not want to see? So maybe it's just Thoughtseize. Yeah, this could be a tough one, because it's a lot better to need lands than, you know, than the opposite. I guess there's a chance my opponent thinks I'm a combo deck. Okay, I guess not. That one's gone. That one's gone. That one's gone. Yeah, Narset is a beating. I feel like I should cling to dust right away. Get rid of Ponder. Draw a card. Spike Tameo. Certainly not Spike Tameo. Lauren revealed. That is atrociously bad. No Surveillance in the deck either. I'm not exactly loving life here. My opponent kept the Ponder. So let's see. They pass with Bowmaster up. I do play 4 Bowmasters, so might not be a problem, but unfortunately I think it is gonna be exactly that, so yeah, that is terrible. I guess land passes the move. Okay, so the opponent kind of realized that this is a Bowmaster mirror, so they're going to slow roll their Bowmaster. So in a vacuum, that's very good for me. Yeah. This is actually a big problem. Oh, wow. So they play around. This makes a lot of sense. So they play around Orcish Bowmasters by not playing theirs, right? And then they do the same here. Huh. So I guess that's decent for me. Let's see. What can I do? I guess I just take the turn. Murktide is quite bad against Edict. Let's fetch Underground Sea. Kill the Narset. Let's see here. Narset down. And what I could do now is play Murktide. If I play Murktide, I'm getting Edicted, which is not great. But maybe if my opponent doesn't have a black land specifically, I get to cast Lure Revealed. Okay, so in the specific context at hand, I like jamming my Murktide into an Edict. Let's see how that works. So this play is essentially just saying, if you don't have a 4th land, I get to resolve a draw 3. Okay, so I get to at least cast the draw 3, and I need to get either forced or, you know, the opponent can't really touch me. So now, yeah, I think I should just cast a draw 3. It is tempting to get Kaito going though, but I think it's a lot better to cast a draw 3. Preordain, not ideal because Bowmaster is going to be in the mix here. Okay. So I did find a good window here. I just drew some terrible cards off of that draw 3. Let's see. So now, sorry, Murktide is dead. Funny, we're playing some pseudo mirror here. That's really cool. Baleful Strix gets in there. Super annoying card. Here's Snapcaster Thoughtseize. Okay. Nice play by my opponent. But I guess that's pretty good for me. Because now my hand is kind of unlocked. Maybe my opponent needs to take Tameo here. Otherwise I can go Tameo double cantrip. Grixis Mirror. Okay, Kaito hits the bin. Bowmaster's very, very nice draw. Let me play Tameo. Let me cast Preordain. I actually don't think these cards are very strong. Let's maybe keep digging. One more Preordain, yeah. I guess that was very good that I kept digging. Let's see. Yeah, let's keep digging harder. Tameo flips. And even preordain once more, which is kind of funny. Let's preordain. These cards are very solid. So I guess I don't want my Kaito killed. All right, so now my opponent basically has 1 damage on board. So a bolt kills my Tamiyo. Is that enough for me to fatal push the Snapcaster? I think it should be. There's Brainstorm. I can't really do anything about that because my opponent will just Bowmaster my Bowmaster. Okay, this could be a great game. I don't know if my opponent's on pushes or bolts in the mana base. It's kind of funny to get a mirror like this. Bunch of bad stuff can happen here. Yeah, this has lightning bolt written all over it. That is an interesting attack. So, guess let's resolve these first, and then fatal push to Snapcaster to try and keep Tamiyo alive through bolt. I would be delighted to play against Force Pitch, Bolt, and then just the Bowmaster left. I think I'm doing very well done. Let's see if that works. Opponent is at least thinking about it. Okay, that card is gone. Oh, is this how it works? Kaito just unblocked in general, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, just unblocked. Doesn't matter if it's attacking the player. Okay, so Kaito it down to 1. And then it might get bolted, which would be annoying. The opponent with the Surveil. Okay. Kaito versus Kaito action might be coming in here. Under. Only kept 2 cards there, which is always scary. Okay, I could be in trouble here. Kaito's decent. So what I could do right now is go Bowmaster my opponent. Kaito to draw. Unclear. Might be necessary because I kind of need to get the ball rolling here. Unfortunately, if my opponent has a force for the Kaito, I think I'm in big trouble. Here's Kaito. Kaito getting forced. Yeah, that is very bad for me. Baleful Strix gets pitched. So now my opponent can... Maybe they have 2 Bowmasters with the way they're playing. Kill that card. Any removal spell here kills... Oh, this is K command? Yeah, that's very sweet. So K command, I discard my hand, plus Kaito, kill Tamiyo. Yeah, the opponent's doing it. Returning Snapcaster. Ooh. Yeah, they should have plussed. Okay, so I get a little lucky there. I don't think it's enough to win, though. All right. I think that's gonna be enough here. That was cool. The opponent had slightly better grind mode than me. I should have thought about Dimir when constructing this deck. These cards all seem great. Let's see, I have a lot of bad ones here between the forces. I could easily cut Lauren Revealed here as well, since my mana is not under any form of pressure. So let's see. I like all of these cards. I guess Cling to Dust is inconsequential. Need to make one more cut. Guess these. And then keep a Cling. Okay. Grixis control. I've been bested. I need to do better. Snapcaster Colligan's command is unironically insane in the mirror. I thought I found a good play with jamming the Murktide, hoping my opponent would tap out for a removal spell. I slam Kaito, that kind of thing. I think that was pretty good. The opponent found better things to do, like Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix is a interesting card in the Bowmaster Arms Race, because if that card kind of prompts a Bowmaster, then you can play your Bowmaster second. That's pretty decent. So it's mainly just when the opponent has a Bowmaster in play already, kind of uncontested. That's where the Strix is very bad. All right, here we go. Ooh, is it mana with some black cards, but I think that's fine. Want to play turn 1 Volcanic Island, Tamiyo. This is kind of a must kill. I will say it's also very likely to die between 1 mana removal and Pyros from the sideboard. Lightning Bolt. Okay, that's a good draw. Let me cast Baleful Strix into a land. That's a poor draw. Let's see. Another Strix here, this time from the side of my opponent. And another land. Yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm in deep trouble. This is a lot better of a land spell ratio, that is for sure. Lots of cards here don't really matter. Maybe I should take the Bowmaster. Let's pass because of Kaito. Bowmaster gone. Delta Plate. The theory is here, my opponent can't cantrip. That's kind of the idea here, because of the threat of Bowmaster. Oh wow, the opponent doesn't care. That card is gone. Sure. Okay, that's a ballsy move, unless, of course, my opponent drew another Bowmaster or Bolt. Then it's just, you know, standard play. But that doesn't bode well for me, that's for sure. I probably need to draw my own Brainstorm to be in this game. Opponent gets to set up their hand even better. It was already good, to be honest. Just nice land spell ratio. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 6, like 40% spells. Probably not gonna do it against very many mirror matches. So I really need some help here. No attack. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see. No ponder from the opponent, so I'm super sad if they're just holding up Bowmaster here, because part of my way back into the game is Brainstorm. All right, Tamiyo's, I don't know, maybe a decent draw. No play. So my opponent likes their cards after the Brainstorm. Another very bad sign. Tamio's dead. Has a little bit of hesitation here. Dies to Pyroblast. Sure. Here's Surveil Land. So, okay, Kling getting milled over. That's a nice play. So they planned that last turn, right? Put 2 cards back, draw one of them, and mill over the Kling. So they're trying to set up a good late game. I like that a lot. Okay. Island is atrocious here. We can give it one more turn, but yeah, this game is over 99 times out of 100. Yep. And now my opponent kind of gets the confirmation. There's no Bowmaster looming. Yeah, this is not something I can recommend. You cannot draw in any circumstances 5 spells and 7 lands and expect to do well unless you're playing something like, I don't know, some Eldrazi deck or some tap out deck where that's like the most important thing. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll just concede this one and try and do a little bit better in the next one. Let's see if we can do that. Exactly that. Quick message here, guys. I wanted to remind you that my Metafy is home of not only Legacy Champions, but also the thoughts of Legacy Champions. So we have these awesome guest primers from the best on their respective decks, showing all of their insights, all the tricks. So whether you want to master the deck or beat the deck, my Metafy is the place to be. So go for your Booksmart Baron membership and save 50% with code ECO50. Now let's get back to winning in Magic, you know, what I do best. All right, another round of Grixis here. Let's see if we can do a little bit better. It was embarrassing to say the least. This hand looks fine. We can do work against some different meta decks. So let's see. Maybe I go turn 1 Underground Sea so I can push on end step and untap and Brainstorm Fetch. I guess the downside is getting randomly wasted. We dodged that one. Let's see what the opponent can do. Maybe they're scared of Entomb. That would be kind of funny. Maybe I should be scared of Entomb. I guess the bread and butter here is just Tamio, kill it end of turn type of deal. Okay, Thoughtseize. So now, problem is I don't really know. I'm just gonna let my opponent pick here. I don't really know what they're playing. So if I go and like hide the Force of Will, is that even good? Who knows? Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. Could be a few decks these days. Most likely is obviously Reanimator. Alright. The opponent goes for that route. Take my Brainstorm. Let's see if we can make them pay. I'll just play out Swamp here. I'm not going to need Revolts. Might need to dress down. That kind of deal. Okay. Another Dimir Pseudomir. Pass. Okay. I'm actually just going to stay put here. I don't think I'm in a hurry. My opponent knows about those 3. So no Bowmaster is just going to get randomly cast here. Let's see if we can find something to hardcast negation. That would be kind of cool. I guess this is a decent hardcast negation target. Let's go Volcanic Island. Hardcast Force Negation. My opponent now has no idea about the push. If I get dazed, it's very unfortunate, I must say. Yeah, I get dazed. All right. So my opponent maybe even gets to accelerate mana here. Let's see if that's the case. They have a fetch line that can jam Murktide. Let's see. I'm in trouble here. Big trouble. Wait. Take Fatal Push. That is a weird one. So opponent's plan is... Okay. Yeah, this I have to Force a Will, which is kind of terrible. Yeah, I'm really behind now. Well, I'm really behind now. Wow. So this is a good lesson, right? My opponent knew about the Force, so they created a story that they left me with the Force to basically play him to Torque with the Brainstorm, right? But in reality, they were trying to set up the perfect days. So they did a good job here. So now flip Tameo, I have double Collapse in the deck. Let's see if we can get lucky. Murktide region, that's not bad. I should leave a lane in the yard like this. Here's actually Murktide. That's a 7/7 that kills Tameo in one swing, unless I get bounced, right? So right now, Entomb, Reanimate, and getting Petty Thefted are the enemy. Bloodstainmire, it looks like the opponent doesn't have a play, and they want to protect against Wasteland getting to double blue. Let's see if I'm right about that. Okay, I guess I'm wrong about that. So maybe the opponent's flooded and they want to minorly thin the deck. Yeah, the opponent knew about that, and then maybe a chump blocker. Okay, that would be very annoying. Oh, Thoughtseize themselves. Got it. Yeah, this game is over now, right? Okay, so they break on Force. So in theory, I can draw a removal spell for Atraxa and win the game. I think I have a couple of outs here. Let's see. I think I just have the collapses. If I draw collapse, I win, which is kind of cool. Ah, the opponent put back Underground Sea, I think, with the Brainstorm. So I should probably know. Yeah, I don't know. I should know one of these cards, but I don't know which. Maybe it's Reanimate. And I guess it doesn't matter. Because if I kill my opponent now, it doesn't matter. And if I pass, I lose every time. So I drew the Collapse. That is a cool one. That is a cool one. All right. So we got a little lucky here. Oh, that was really clutch, to say the least. I thought I had no chance in that game. Absolutely no chance. Not even close. But a couple of outs was all I needed. So let's see. I want to bring those in, but I didn't make the perfect sideboard plane here. Trimming bushes seems decent. Maybe the edicts aren't great. Maybe that's the problem. Because Pyroblast kind of does that. That would be kind of a problem with building the deck in general. So let's see. Maybe these Dress Downs are bad. Dress Down. How many pushes? One, maybe? I kind of like all of these cards. So that's not bad. 3 pushes. with 3 Pyroblasts and then a couple of Collapses. That's enough removal, that's for sure. So now I need to cut 1 magic card from my deck. 1 magic card. And these are all quite strong. So basically Fatal Push. Guess that's the least flexible one. Alright, we can do that. This also changed. I should have cut a land. It's possible. Not sure. Not sure. This is cool. We play against Dimir Reanimator, and I have some hate cards. They have their plan B. I think that's a cool dynamic. So this hand is bad against Tamiyo. Decent against the most other stuff. Okay, second Murktide, very bad spell to draw. I'm pretty sure my move here should be to play off basics, and then, you know, sure, I have 5 red cards in my deck, but if I start fetching red now, I can get wasted out of the game. Animate Dead to the graveyard. So whether that's because it's redundant or it's, you know, alone. Oh, wow. Lotus Petal. That's kind of a crazy card to play. Lotus Petal. Well, I'm very bad against the combo, and I feel like my opponent would have already killed me with it if they had it, so I'm just gonna move along with my day here. Play like it's 2014 here. Baleful Strix into... Okay. So, I guess the opponent in theory is representing having Bowmaster in the deck, so we should certainly think about that. Petal is interesting against a control deck, because usually speed is not what you need. You need, like, resiliency. You need over time to keep putting more threats, essentially. So one-shot mana sources are not ideal. But, you know, it's actually decent against my hand here. Let's see if we can find a 0 mana interactive spell. We could not. So my hand is basically good against, you know, the Tamiyos and the Murktide stuff of the world. Okay, now we're getting entombed and we're dead. We might... Okay, that is not entomb. Okay, so I guess we play. I can only beat the fair side of the deck, so let's see how that works. Okay, flip Tamiyo is annoying. I guess Kaito is decent. So this way, Kaito attack Tamiyo down to 1, kind of keep our opponent busy with the Kaito, and then if they fight hard over it, we can maybe Pyroblast it away. This also means I'll have to fetch something like Volcanic Island, probably. Let's see, what would be the best play here? If the opponent slammed the Murktide Regent, I guess, would be pretty darn strong. Yeah, that looks like that's going to happen here. Okay. Oh, this is... Okay, this is something else. Let's see, Voidwalker? Okay, that's Voidwalker. So maybe now the move is just to kill Tamiyo. Should I brainstorm first? Let's see. If I brainstorm first, I don't get to build graveyard anyway, so maybe the move is... I don't know. I feel like I want to use my mana here and go Pyroblast onto the Tamiyo. Pyroblast. And now for my next trick, I really feel like I should slam a Bowmaster here. I think that's part of what I can actually beat. Like play against my opponent's cantrips, essentially. So let's see. My opponent now has a Pyroblast in the void. This card is still in play. I cannot build a graveyard for these boys. And here comes Murktide, which I think is very beatable with me having a Strix draw. Voidwalker's a little bit annoying with how I sideboard it, though. Opponent with 3 cards in hand. Here's Force of Will, just in time. I feel like if I attack with Baleful Strix here, I can Kaito, and maybe that's decent spend of my time. Spending my time like this, because now my opponent kind of... oh, wow. So maybe I have to force this card. Yeah, let's force this card. Oh, wow. That was really cool. Yeah, I think that card dying is acceptable. So now... but maybe I should look for... this is fine. This is fine. So let's see. Strix is dead. Second main. Cast Baleful Strix. Draw. Bowmaster. Should I cast Brainstorm now, or does it even do anything? I think it's solid to do now. Okay. So I do get these. So I guess Murktide is just atrocious, and then Preordain is whatever. Fetch bad lands, kill Murktide. Okay. So I cleaned up some stuff here. My opponent cannot play cantrips. Well, my opponent can, in fact, play cantrips. But I think that's decent for me. And then next turn, I'm probably going to Kaito back Strix and tempo down the Voidwalker. I think with me seeing the Voidwalker, I would guess that my opponent's not on the combo plan, but then again, I saw Animate dead, so it's probably a lie. Voidwalker is actually annoying once I start trimming Fatal Pushes. So, ping my opponent, grow with the army. Here's the aggro. What did my opponent do? They shuffled the library. Okay, so I'm probably in pretty decent shape here, all things considered. Here's Timio. So I'm going to be playing that second main. Get in for 6. Play Tamio. Stun Voidwalker. And now the opponent's really in trouble, right? Because now I have 7 damage on board. Yeah, not much to do for the opponent here. Yeah, I got pretty lucky. I'm not sure my opponent's supposed to have Lotus Petal against control. That certainly helped. Drawing a couple of clutch Pyros. That's not bad at all. Yeah, I guess that was a bit more of a solid land spell ratio. And yeah, add a little luck and a little good play and a little weird configuration for my opponent, and yeah, I have leveled the score. Let's play one more. Okay, round 3 of this Grixis control adventure. This hand looks decent. Ironically, I think I should play Volcanic Island turn 1, because if I do get wasted, I want to keep my C around. This hand doesn't care too much about Tamio getting killed, which is always good. And it actually does a good job of just playing stuff onto the board. Verdant Catacombs. Let's see what we're up against here. Basic Swamp. Fatal Push onto that card. Fair enough. So right now I would guess I'm playing against Dimir Tempo, but who the hell knows? Maybe this is a good time to flip Tamiyo. I like that. First Tamiyo traded for removal. Second one does not flip into a Planeswalker. Okay, so pitching Kaito. So I think I am in fact up against Dimir Tempo. Kind of love my sequence there. Slow roll my land, play Tamiyo, resolves, play Brainstorm, get that forced. That's pretty darn good. Oh, wow. Let's see what this is. Maybe the opponent just has their own. Okay, this is a cool game. So I could... Yeah, I should probably kill it, which leaves me a little bit bad against Murktide, but I think that's acceptable. You can easily get dazed here. No daze. My opponent now has seen that I've missed land drops, so it's going to be very tempting to fire a Wasteland if possible, but it's not possible, it looks like. I think this is where I go Baleful Strix. Let's see. Link to Dust is solid here. So right now the most likely card my opponent's holding is Murktide Regent and I guess Petty Theft. But I'm not sure what to do about that. Brainstorm. Okay. I accept. So Baleful Strix is kind of my answer to Murktide, but it's not really reliable because of Orcus Bowmasters, right? So here's what out of my opponent. Just Bowmaster attack. Bowmaster attack. So I'm gonna fetch guess Underground Sea. And then I'm gonna go Cling to Dust onto... Is there a lone sorcery? There isn't. So I guess I'll just do it onto a Brainstorm to draw a card. So this exchange is not that bad for me because... And then I get to Bowmaster their Bowmaster. So let's see. Nether Goyf attacks me down to 16. So let's see. Orcish Bowmasters. Kill that card. Cast Preordain. Force a Will. The issue is I'm not really winning on board, so this force is not the best. I'm actually gonna keep looking. Tamiyo. So hopefully my opponent playing out this Bowmaster doesn't mean they have a second. Okay, it looks like the opponent might have a second. I don't think I'm beating a second, so I think I have to play like this. Well played by the opponent. That's a big blowout. Ping this one, grow the guy in combat. That's really strong. Yeah, so this game started with my opponent force willing a Brainstorm, essentially, so great job getting to this point. Baleful Strix. Card doesn't do much of anything right now. I need to use this Dress Down to get Bowmasters out of the equation. Dress Down is also, ironically, a pretty good card against Nether Goyf. Not on this board, though. Let's block over here and take 5. I'm losing to a lot of things. Kaito... Okay, wow. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I'm dead, because I go... Dressed on response, I guess, but yeah, this is really bad. Triple Bowmaster here really got me. So take one. I guess I should just draw Murktide. That is not a Murktide. So now I basically just have draw stuff. All right. All right, all right. Nice play by my opponent. So I like these 7 cards, and I dislike these 5 cards. And then I guess... what else? Clings are unexciting. These are terrible. Maybe Clings are the only card I can cut, because all of these other cards are reasonable. I guess Stress Down is really not the best either. So maybe like one of each. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, this looks very solid against Dimir Tempo. The Triple Bowmaster, that was a rough one. Rough. I couldn't beat that. So now the game plan is still the same, right? We're trying to outgrind our opponent. Okay, this works. The good thing is, Dimir Tempo doesn't have as many cards to, you know, kill turn 1 Tamiyo as other strategies. I will say if that gets killed, I'm a little bit in trouble, because my mana is so fragile. These cards are not really proactive tools. Okay, so I get to draw a card with my Tamiyo here. I think that's just something I should do. Move closer towards lands. That kind of deal. Even just cracking a clue turn 2, it's just so powerful, right? I'm already up a card from my random 1-drop. Fatal Push hits the bin. Yeah, that's a good land. I will play that out instead so I can keep black through a wasteland. Pass. Dress down really bad. My opponent could have 2 mana removal, I guess. Bitter Triumph. Shelter's Edict, that kind of stuff. And then my point before was just, I'm already up a card. Like, that's very solid for my 1-drop. It basically only gets worse for my opponent from here. I guess the fact that I showed them that I drew Volcanic makes it less likely they go for some Hail Mary Wasteland. But I think it's better to protect the best land from Wasteland. I could easily see losing with, you know, uncastable black cards in hand. Okay. I take this as desperation, essentially. When you're behind on board and you spend your time pondering, yeah, shuffle even. Things are not perfect. Let's see if they found the Fatal Push. There's a land. There's another Goyf. All right. That card is okie dokie. So now, let's see. Can we do anything smart? I don't think so. I think what I want to do here is rack a clue. Maybe just do it before land drop. Because I could find, you know, Thoughtseize or whatever. I find Brainstorm, which is awesome. So let's try and cast Brainstorm. Ace works, of course. So now if I get Thoughtseized, what do I want to hide? Maybe it's like Aito Murktide. Aito Murktide. That sounds fine. plus pass. So now I'm basically setting up a little bit of a defense here. I'm trying to find a good play with my Bowmaster plus dress down. Let's see if that works. That could be pretty cool. Shoot another Nethergryph for 1, dress down afterwards, kill Nethergryph, draw a card, that type of thing. It also works against Baragryph. That would be the dream. Okay, no Kaito, that's good for me. If the opponent attacks it for a single point of damage here, it's really inconsequential. Oh, Bitter Triumph. Got it. All right, so I got a couple of clues and a removal spell out of the deal. Tough to complain about. Let me put it that way. Land, pass. And here's my Murktide that I could cast if I wanted to. Let's see if we can do something sneaky here. So let's go Orcish Bowmasters. Bowmaster the Nethergryph. And then on my end step, I cast Dress Down. The reason for that being then through my opponent's turn, Murktide doesn't work. I think that's worth it, even though I realize the opponent's cantrips will work. But I think this is decent. Let's see how it works out. Also, if they had Brainstorm, they would have responded to this one, right? So let's see if I get to make this play. Would be pretty nice, I must say. Dress Down kills that card. I draw a card. Dress Down is in play to make opposing Murktide a 3/3 on this exact turn cycle. Wasteland on my lone black source is incredibly annoying. And here's a 0-1 Baragryph. Okay, opponent with 3 cards. Let's see what we can do. Preordain into a black source is probably the play. There we go. I do like the Pyroblast to turn after, I must say. So now let's cast Thoughtseize, clear Brazen Borrower, hopefully. Okay. This looks like I'm supposed to take the Kaito and accept the other stuff. So take Kaito. Slam Murktide Regent. I'm interested in trading with the Baragryph. I think that would be great. Ooh, I should have exiled my enchantment. Is there... Wait a minute. How is this a 6? So I think if my opponent gets an artifact, I just messed up big time. Yeah, I should have exiled my enchantment. This was bad, because if my opponent drew Nihil Spellbomb here, I'm in for a bad trade. It looks like my opponent knows that. They want to go for a land Spellbomb. If that happens, I guess I'll just double block and I'll be fine, but... Yeah, I should have exiled the Dress Down. I don't play Nethergryph or whatever. So, I can go about things in a few ways here, but I think the best way is going to be Kaito to stun the Goyf. Let's just say the opponent passes. But I guess they're going to force the issue because that's how it works. Okay, force the issue here. Let's do this. So I knew about that card, obviously. I cannot play 2 black spells on the same turn. So let's see, if I attack, am I representing Kaito or Bowmaster with the attack? Who knows? I think this is a decent attack. If I can get my opponent to block like I did last game, okay, they're not interested in that. So basically, I think I have to kill my opponent's Bowmaster here and get in for 2. I don't think Kaito there makes sense. Pyroblast solves a lot of things now. I'm a little bit weak to Baragoyf. But that would be Baragoyf number 2. Not super likely. This Bowmaster breaks some cards out of the opponent's deck. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to accept this. If I get Kaito'd, it is what it is. I don't get Kaito'd. Okay. Oh, it's a Murktide, I guess. Or, oh, maybe. No, maybe it's another guy from the graveyard. Okay, that's annoying. Another guy from the yard. So now, what's the move? I guess tap that down. Nice draw. Let's tap like this. Go Kaito minus onto the Nethergoyf. And now I have to think a little bit about my situation. Huh. I can stay back with the 2/2. Maybe that's just what I need to do. Yeah, let's stay back with the 2/2 and try and get Kaito going. Let's see if this Pyroblast can do anything. Bounce Spell would be, you know, something I would Pyroblast. Murktide I would Pyroblast. Cantrips I wouldn't care about, obviously. Orcish Bowmasters. Wow, that's good. Kill that one, obviously. Throw the other guy to a 2/2. Force the trade, I would imagine. The trade has been forced. So now, funnily enough, I will... Okay, wow, yeah, that's a good one. I didn't really hope for that one, I must say. That's a really good card. Another Pyroblast, huh? Another Pyroblast, huh? So I think the move now is to plus and to Bowmaster my opponent's Bowmaster. Pass the turn and chum block. Kaito's now are 4/5, so I'm working on the size. Let me put it that way. No more stun counters on that Nethergoyf. So I guess chum block, keep Kaito alive. Pretty cool game. Pretty cool game, I must say. So maybe... So now what can Kaito do? If I go attack with Kaito alone, stun another Nethergoyf, chum block, then I can start drawing next turn. I'm just not sure that's ideal. So maybe I should try and draw this turn. Yeah, let's try and draw this turn. I don't think there's any world where I'm blocking with Bowmasters. Okay, let's try and find something like... I guess Baragoyf is the best example here. Let's see. Baleful Strix. Very good. So let's draw Baleful Strix. into Brainstorm. That's really strong, because that Brainstorm could easily hit a Fatal Push. Is this a Force Blue card pause from my opponent? This is a trait of a game. Counter target spell if it's blue, and that would be that one. Strix resolves. Draw. Cast Brainstorm. Find Baragoyf. I think this Thoughtseize is quite bad. So maybe what I do now is... Huh. Slow roll? No, that can't be. Slow roll Preordain. Maybe draw the land with Preordain. Okay, maybe that's fine. So I go Preordain, put away the Thoughtseize. Draw the land. So I'm holding up Pyro. Is that good? Actually, I don't think it's good. I'll put the land away as well. Molten Collapse. Very good. Yeah, I thought about the land for a second here, but I actually think that the blue spells my opponent can cast are, you know, not that important to counter, but I could just remove them, essentially. Okay, so I guess let's trade off one here. Try and drain my opponent's graveyard. Kaito dead. So now I have Baragoyf. Baragoyf with Pyro backup. May or may not be relevant. That works. Lorien revealed. I don't think that does anything. Let's just go like this. Baragoyf pass. Now my opponent is done attacking. Fetchline Fatal Push does the trick. Probably does enough of a trick. If that does not come to fruition, I'm attacking next turn, because if I go Collapse first... Yeah, this works, opponent. Hopefully you just have a Murktide you're trying to clear the way for. If I go Collapse first, then Fatal Push is on, right? So... let's see if I can find a good line here. They take the draw 3. Wow. Okay, so I'm really worried about my opponent having Fatal Push. There's a Tamiyo, which is pretty awesome. So, let's see. If my opponent actually has Fatal Push, they will have to block and push to kill it. I think that's reasonable, because just any fetch lane unlocks it. So I think this is how I need to do. I think my opponent's hand is Fatal Push, unfortunately. It's not. Okay. I take this. I realize my opponent can play them from the graveyard. Tamiyo, S. And then my opponent can play another guy from the yard, and I can start, I can start drawing cards with Tamiyo. If I want to, I can collapse the Nethergoyf. That might be decent, because my opponent's running out of cards now. 3-4 hits the table. Huh. That card probably is what I should cast, because I feel like this game is a lot about my opponent trying to find a spot for whatever is in the hand. Cantrips. Okay, so I don't care about the Brainstorm. The Tamiyo isn't really that impressive either. So I guess it's just the Kaito. Alright. Let's try and send the Tamiyo. Let's crack this clue right away. Bowmaster. Not bad. Not bad. A little bit inconsequential. Let's see. Card is gone. Gone. The opponent has Brainstorm, Tamiyo, one unknown. So I guess they attack here. They can cast an instant before damage. Okay, I just take 3. Yeah, that Baragoi buff was really strong this game. Tamiyo, sure. So let's see. Sheldrit's Edict. So if I go collapse onto the Tamiyo, I can edict that one. Let's see. Start her creature or planeswalker. Nope. Nope. This doesn't work. I need to pyroblast it. So pyroblast. I'm not sure if my opponent is interested in firing a brainstorm here, I must say. Okay, we have a brainstorm in response. Interesting. Well, let's cast Orcish Bowmasters and probably force the next game. Yeah, let's target the opponent. All right, 6 more triggers. That's not bad. I'll trigger onto my opponent 6 times and hopefully attack with Bowmaster for the win. All right, so the more I think about the dress down, the better it becomes. But the thing is, a card like Cling to Dust, that's a card that can, you know, hedge a little bit in the early game to just get into the game mana base wise. But I guess I shouldn't worry too much about that. I have 20 mana sources here. All right. Game 3 here. I've had some good games. Match 1 was kind of a dud, but I've had some cool games here. Let's see if we can end off with a good one. We're both on a mulligan. I'm going to put back a collapse here and hope for the best. The 6 basic land, 9 fetches, 20 land deck is struggling on mana here. I mean, that's just how Magic goes, right? You can make a lot of choices in theory, and then how it actually plays out, totally different ball game. Turn 1 ponder. Opponent sculpting a little bit. I'll preordain for lands. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna certainly preordain for lands here. And we could easily have a game here where none of that matters if I don't find those lands. Okay, so I can get rid of the preordain and draw this one. The duel is unfortunate here. But let's see. Let's see if we're allowed into this game. We are maybe not allowed into this game. Here's a wasteland. The problem with that wasteland is it makes it less likely that I can play on basics afterwards. So I think I'm going to upkeep Brainstorm, and this feels really bad. But I think it's better for me to lose to the second wasteland than lose to, you know, Bowmaster. Okay. Yeah, this is not really a game. I guess that's gonna do it for the video. We yeah, didn't get too lucky on the mana situation. Drew a bunch of lands round 1 and failed to find lands here. That's just what happens. We got some cool games in the middle against Reanimator and the 2 games against, this matchup. But yeah, that's Magic sometimes. Sometimes you get some bad land spell ratios and you lose. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed playing this deck, I must say. Yeah, just unfortunate that the games on camera weren't the best. But yeah, I hope to see you guys back for more Legacy soon. I will certainly look forward to it myself. All right, thanks so much for watching.